Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us here at Create, and thank you Pastor A for that intro. Touch naman ako. Anyway, so what we're gonna do today is actually very special. We've never done it before. We're gonna give you a tour of what our prod booth looks like, ano yung mga gamit namin na gamit for our live streaming and our cameras, how we set them up. Especially now nagbago kami ng setup because of quarantine restrictions. And we're gonna show you how our lights are set up para hindi to get the best picture na kaya nyo makuha. Now, we're here today at our ground floor. So this is the sanctuary. This is how it looks like when it's empty. Tayo lang nandito ngayon. And there's a stage. It's set up in a way na yung pwedeng ready na kaagad na pang shoot. So, in our ground floor, this is where all the magic happens. Or most of the magic happens. Ito yung ating camera platform. So, here we have two cameras. This is our camera 2. We'll show you what it looks like in our switcher later. This is our camera 2. And this is our master camera. Now, yung master camera namin is responsible for all the close-ups for worship leaders and siya yung sumusunod kay Pastor A when he's teaching. And this camera is our backup, or what we usually use for our wide. So this is our center wide camera, and this is our close-up camera. So ito yung master, and then this is our secondary. So for example, when we're during our praise and worships, meron tayong mga, if you want to have an establishing shot, we use this. But then to get close to the singers, ito yun. And we are switching between them. Now, connections. So this is actually very we're using something very new to us na kasi dati ang gamit namin SDI connections to yung itsura. So yeah, may picture na SDI. But then the problem with SDI is over time nagko-corrode siya and putol kami ng putol kasi what do you call this? It's a secure connection nga siya kaso sobrang mahal, number one. And kapag nakadami ka na ng putol, sobrang hirap na makakuha ng signal. And it came to a point na yung SDI namin, yung kulay pala sobrang pangit na. Akala namin na baka yung camera yung sira or something. But then when we actually switch connection, nagulat kami kasi sobrang linaw ulit ng broadcast namin. So right now what we're using are these are very inexpensive solutions to broadcasting. Now, some of you may say na, ba't hindi na lang kayo bumili ng mga sobrang haba ng HDMI? Yes, that can be also. Pero kasi ang problema sa HDMI is may specific length lang siya na effective. Ngayon kapag yun yung maganda sa SDI actually na pwede kang mag 100 feet na SDI, 200 feet na SDI, no problem. Pero kasi ang HDMI parang ang alam ko after 20 feet na siya, pangit na yung connection. Unless you have a very high-end HDMI cable na kayang 100 feet, 50 feet, whatever. Now, the solution we found was to actually use these things na ang tinatawag namin ay HDMI extenders. Now, what makes these things special? These are connected to our switcher via LAN cable. So, LAN cable is very common anywhere. You can get 20 meters nga eh. Sobrang kaya, kasi diba internet, minsan kailangan mahaba yung connection mo. So, these things are readily available at Lazada, sa Ace Hardware meron. And these are very cheap. Now, these things are also very cheap, yung HDMI extension. So yeah, our HDMI to Cat6 extenders. Now, these are the senders. Ito yung dito nang gagaling yung signal. And they're very clear. Kami nagulat kami. So sobrang linaw na yung first time na ginamit namin ever since we came back from quarantine na parang wow, ang ganda. Ang ganda ng itsura ng ni Pastor, nagulat kami. So yeah, it's a very inexpensive way to get, especially if you have a big auditorium or a big sanctuary. It's nice to have these things kasi pwedeng eto na lang yung roving mo sa gilid ng stage, di ba? Pwede kang kung saan, di ba? Wherever you want. And it's a very secure connection also kasi hindi siya bigla-bigla natatanggal. Di ba? So that's nice. And nabawasan yung sakit ng ulo namin na pag nagsa-start yung service, nawawala yung feed ng camera. We used to have that every Sunday. So yeah. Now, let's go over here. We used to have a crane over there, if you can see it. But then we stopped using it. Yeah, we stopped using our crane because yun nga, we didn't really see the point of showing the auditorium that much anymore kasi since people are spaced together, parang the shot isn't that good. So what we do actually now is we have a wireless system that we use on the camera na ginagamit sa kanya. That's why I can't show you, sadly. But then we use this to get shots of handheld movements all around the stage kasi it's way easier. We used to have SDI connections also that go to the roving cameras. Kaso ang problema is that nawawala yung feed, diba, all of that. And so, yan. Now, let's go over to the stage. Yeah, let's go to the stage. So here in the stage, it's very important. Before, when we started, ang gamit namin ng mga par light na nasa harapan were yung usual na par light, yung kagaya ng mga yun, yung maraming, yung nagiging blue, nagiging nagiging red, nagiging green. But then the problem with that is, kapag inon mo lahat, tas kunwari naging white, hindi siya pure white eh. Parang may tint ng pink or purple. Hindi siya perfect white. So what we actually did was, come here. We sourced these lights. Sige, doon, pakita mo sa taas. Yeah, we sourced those lights. And those are just regular white LED bars. Hindi siya yung RGB. It's just LED bar. Ano na siya, white lang. And that improved our lighting tremendously. Kasi the last thing you want is to have inaccurate light hitting your subject. Actually, one problem I find sometimes whenever we go around, we're touring, I request especially if hindi sa amin yung tao, the people na nagpupunta sa amin or the people from rental houses, ang number one problem ko, especially pag nag-photo kami, nagdo-document kami ng event, is that yung tao, ang pangit na kulay ng balat. So, blue lahat, green lahat. Sure, it can be used. It's most often used na, especially kapag moody yung kanta. Pero kapag mabilis, nagugol kami minsan, parang green yung tao, tapos yung background ng ilaw, red. Rule of thumb is always to have your key light or your main source of light has to be white. Especially, in during preaching, kailangan white. Don't experiment during preaching na green si pastor, di ba? Avatar siya or Smurf, di ba, or something. Always make sure na your key light or your main source of light is white. Now, if you're in a church na wala kayong moving heads, wala kayong bar lights na LED na nagpapalit ng kulay, if you want to be safe, just be safe, use white. Now, don't use any other color na yellow lahat, di ba, red lahat. No, masakit sa mata siya minsan, especially for people who are attending your church. Now, if you want to be safe, always use white. Don't blast the whole stage with blue. Minsan ginagawa namin yun, especially during praise and worship, pero not to the extent na masakit na sa mata. And always remember na, main source of light, white, and gaganda yung nyo. Promise. Hands down. Hindi nyo kailangan ng high-end na camera or whatever. You just need good light. And if your lighting is good, everything will follow, di ba? It's gonna be very aesthetic. Alright, now I'll bring you to our command center. Since nasa taas siya and baka mahirapan kami maglakad papunta habang may camera, we'll just teleport. Alright, so we're here today at our, teleport tayo to our prod booths. Now our prod booth is overlooking the sanctuary, as you can see. Ano tayo, bird's eye view, and it's an awesome view during Sunday. Okay, so for lights, our controller is this, the Avolites mixer. Now, to be honest, hindi ko to kabisado kasi sobrang hirap. Ito lang yung alam ko dati, yung ginagamit namin, yung DMX controller. But you can use any DMX controller. And basta, like I said, always remember na your key light has to be white. I'm gonna show you examples of our shoots lately na ginamit. If you saw our praise and worship a while ago, na yun talaga, your key light has to be white. Kasi kapag white yung mukha, tapos hinaluan nyo ng ibang ilaw, manadalian lang yung camera. Especially kasi most cameras right now don't really handle light na especially mga blue, mga hardcore na blue, hardcore na red, they don't handle it properly unless you're using like high-end cinema cameras that can really capture so much information. Pero for most of us, di ba, we're using consumer cameras, di ba, mga camcorder na pambahay, or some of you prosumer, they usually cannot keep up. Now, like I said, white light, and you can go crazy with the background light no matter how you want. Now for our mixer, this is the Allen Heath SQ7. Awesome mixer. I also do not know much technicality because I'm a video guy. But then this is our side. This is my side of the prod booth. So number one, we have our MacBook Pro 16 running Pro Presenter 7. So this is where ito yung in charge ng ano natin, main LED wall. So we have two sets of LED walls. We have one center LED wall and yung background natin and lyrics for the audience, and then we have two sets of vertical LED wall na pang design, diba? So yeah, so this computer, this MacBook Pro is responsible for our main LED wall, yung lyrics LED wall natin. And so yeah, like here you can change background. We use Pro Presenter kasi it's very reliable, and yung Mac, it works well with the Mac system, Mac ecosystem. So yeah, we can change the background. We have our set of backgrounds here. Yeah, so we have a library here, and then yeah, very straightforward. We can change the lyrics. Diba yan, nagpapalit ng lyrics. Very seamless. So yeah, and then over here we have an iMac for this is our main live stream computer. So yeah, as you can see, it's playing, and what we do here is that we have the iMac and the MacBook Pro connected via Wi-Fi connection. So lahat ng lalabas na lyrics dito, lalabas dito. So it's actually something very new that we've tried out, especially during quarantine na walang taong pwedeng sa church. So we've been experimenting with that a lot lately na para it's seamless. Hindi na yung gagawa ka pa dito ng separate na slides para lang sa lyrics. We're connecting it via a network connection. It's called NDI. Now you can check if, I think OBS has it if you're using OBS or any other streaming platform. You can dig into that, yung NDI. It's gonna save you so much hassle. Now over here we have another MacBook Pro running Keynote. We just use Keynote for this one kasi ang ginagawa na lang namin, sequence na lang namin yung praise and worship para next na lang, diba? Yan, so nagpapalit yung background natin na isa over there. Alright, so yun. And then this is our main control center for video. So like here we have our program monitor. Ito yung program monitor namin na ginagamit para sa camera. So like I said, right now we're using a 3-camera setup because we took away the crane. But then we would usually go 4. So we have a roving, which is camera 1, which is being used to film me now, kaya di ko mapakita sa inyo. Sometimes we use, so yeah, here's our receiver ng wireless natin. Yung pinakita ko sa inyo kanina was the transmitter, and this is the receiver. Alright, and then so yeah, we have our roving camera. I'll just show you examples here of what it looks like. We usually use a gimbal sometimes, and then sometimes handheld lang. Pero usually I've been using it handheld kasi mas may control ako. Yeah, and then we have our comm set here, which we use to communicate with the cameras. And this is our main switching laptop. So it's a very old Dell computer. This is from 2008, pero binit kami na wow, it's still working. It's capable of recording and switching at the same time. So ito yung switcher control namin, where we have a Blackmagic 8M television studio. So it's over here. This has been with us for almost a decade already. This is our main capture device. Yeah, this is our main capture device. And then, so as you can see, nawala yung isang feed. Ayun, alright. So yeah, like I said, these are our receivers. Yan, yung mga receiver ng LAN cable natin. Yeah, so these are our receivers for LAN cable. And then it goes through HDMI after. So yeah, nakakonect na siya dito. HDMI, these are our inputs. And yeah, we record our services through this. This is our main system. So many people ask me actually na what camera should I use, or how do we do this, how do we do that. For me, the best way to get into this is to actually, if you don't have the budget, for me, it's better to purchase secondhand. Kasi sometimes yung quality ng secondhand na prosumer camera is way better than an entry-level brand new one. Kasi sometimes may mga brand new cameras na worth 50,000, 40,000, pero minsan may mga prosumer camera na secondhand that are still in very good condition. You can get them for 30, 20k, diba? But then you see, like I said, you can do research. We actually did a video on video production, like on a set production back then. We'll see if we can link it in the description. But then yeah, basically this is it. This is the way we've been running our services. Also, this is the same iMac na ginagamit namin for our video production. So this is where we edit. And for many of you who are asking na what do you edit on, I used to edit in Adobe Premiere Pro, so Premiere Pro, After Effects, yeah. But then now I've transitioned fully kasi I'm a colorist, so I color commercials, films, and music videos. I have transitioned to Resolve. So DaVinci Resolve this is actually a free software that we've been using, but then I'm using the paid one. But if you want to get into it and you want to look into it, you can check out DaVinci Resolve. So yeah, DaVinci Resolve. It's by Blackmagic Design also. It's very powerful editing tool. We've been using it to edit our pandemic, our quarantine. What do you call this? Our quarantine services. So yung mga service namin dati weren't actually live, yung mga praise and worship, because we wanted to limit the number of times the worship team would come to church. So we would record multiple services and multiple praise and worship sets during quarantine for one day. Siguro tatlo gagamitin namin. And then we use this to edit. And as you can see, yeah, we have our worships, diba? Let me just give you a sneak peek. So this is September 6th. We do all our editing here on this iMac. Yeah. So yeah, this is what it looks like in Resolve. And so yeah, basically, video production is very important, especially now in quarantine, in live services, diba? So if you have any questions, just message message Malayang Pilipino and say put subject video, diba? And if you want to ask a question from me, diba? So I can answer it better if you have a specific question. But then yeah, so we have right now a 3-camera setup. We're actually planning on putting a 4th camera na gagawin namin, and we'll be sharing like updates on how it goes out, on kung ano yung mangyayari, diba, in our Facebook page. And yeah, so thank you for joining us. So